welcome back. You're with Expresso here on SABC3. Now, this morning I'm joined by Tsidi. She's from 3 Beads, and she's going to show us how to recycle old chip packets and turn them into beautiful creations. I have to say, this sounds interesting, Tsidi.
It definitely is.
Turning it into beautiful creations. I see you've got some knickknacks packets over here. The last time I had knickknacks, I have to say I love my knickknacks. I like to dip it into yogurt. So I've got a lot of knickknacks packets at home. Exactly what are we going to be making here today?
Okay, I'm going to make, you can either make a pencil case or a cosmetic bag out of this. Or if you have a kiddies party coming up soon and you don't know what to use for wrapping, you can just make that little bag and throw in some goodies in there.
Oh, I like that one. Quick and easy. Okay, so what are we going to need?
Okay, you'll need a good pair of scissors, very sharp one.
Yes.
You'll need a measuring tape towards the end. You'll need some zipper. In this case, I always buy the chain.
Okay, so I see it's actually got a complete zip over here.
Yeah, it's a chain, it's not tabbed.
So you can actually cut it and adjust it the way you need it.
Yeah, but for a beginner, I'd suggest that you use this type of zipper. Okay. It makes it easier. But once you have graduated, you can always use this one. You get sliders, and I always prefer to use different colors.
All right, lovely.
To really pimp it up a bit.
Oh, pimp it up a bit.
Different.
I like that.
Idea.
Okay.
And for as a beginner, you'll also need some pins.
Okay, so you'll need the pins, and then I see you've got some needles here as well.
You've got some needles.
Okay.
You'll need some cotton thread. You'll also need...
Any type of color, doesn't really matter?
I like to throw in the wrong colors.
You like it, so you like mixing it up a bit.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, you're recycling here, so you don't really have to be very specific.
Exactly.
And people always love that bit of, mix here and there.
And it's nice that you can just take anything inside your home and just mix it up like that.
That's the whole point. That's part of recycling. You don't have to be too, yeah. And then you'll need some twill tape.
Twill tape?
Yeah, twill tape, or you could use bias binding. Yeah, in most cases I use bias bindings.
What exactly does this do, twill tape?
This twill tape I'll use towards the end to bind the edges off so that it doesn't, my lining doesn't ruffle off.
I see.
Yes, I'll need a cigarette lighter to to just finish off the end so that it doesn't ruffle.
So it's not all frayed at the end.
Yeah, so that just to give it that nice finish.
Okay, and then what else?
And then your chip wrapper, and you'll need some lining. I always prefer the bright colors.
Oh, yes.
It creates that surprise.
Yes, it does.
And then you also need some clear plastic.
I think the more colorful, the better, especially when you're making something for the little kiddies as well.
Exactly.
It's absolutely
But
awesome.
also adults, it creates that surprise. So what I'm going to do then is to cut up my chip wrapper.
Okay.
I chose this one because it's my favorite. Yeah.
I see you've got quite a large size of that, so you can, depending on what size you want, you can actually get yourself a smaller packet as well.
And if you're making it specifically for somebody, let's say for a present, always find out what their favorite brand is.
All right,
it goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
So what you do then is to cut off that end.
Okay, the end that's closed up normally at the bottom.
Exactly.
Okay, so you cut that open.
And then you go to the top.
Oh, you cut that off as well.
You also cut that off.
I see. All right.
Right? And when you're through with that, you turn it around like that. You now have that. And then you go to the center.
Okay.
And you nip that off. But you have to make sure that you're off this line because it creates that wrinkle that you don't want. You want a very smooth finish.
So basically cut off the line over there that's all wrinkled in the middle, and then you get it nice and smooth.
Yes,
okay.
but towards the edge.
All right.
And once that is done, you want to cut that off also because if you have it as is, it can become a bit cumbersome. You won't know what to do with this.
Yes.
Unless you want a pencil case, a very
large one, which I might need because I've got a lot of stuff to put in. Okay, so what do we do next when we're done cutting?
When we're done with cutting, once it is as is, okay, then you take your lining.
You take the lining?
But what is going to determine the size of your lining and your plastic will be the size of your chip wrapper.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you do then, you cut according to the size, and then you'll take your plastic, once you've cut it to size, and then you just place it on top of your chip wrapper and try to smooth it in.
Give it that nice smooth feel.
Yeah, but always make sure that the clear plastic and your chip wrapper and your lining are exactly the same size. So that when you start doing your zipper, it doesn't overlap and create that messy.
Well, there's a tip to learn.
Oh, definitely. Always.
A tip
so what you then do will be to take that
and you attach it on. All right, you need some help there?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
So I'll hold it over here.
Right.
And then what do we do?
What I'm going to do is to take some pins. Then we're
going to pin it through.
Yeah, we just pin it through.
Okay.
I hope I don't.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, and then after pinning it through, just to hold it, just to hold it like that.
Okay.
The other way around.
Ah, there we go. So this is something, you know, if you want to get maybe your little ones involved as well, it's something fun that you can do. And of course, kids, you need to make sure that if you are going to be busy with your crafts and with your a little bit of DIY, little things, you know, that you're going to be making, you need to get mommy and daddy to be with you to make sure that you are being safe, especially when you're dealing with things like scissors and all those sharp
definitely, at all times.
Yes.
Now, once you have that pinned together, you'll now want to use your zipper. Let me get this one, my favorite.
Your favorite. So, let's get Tsidi's favorite.
It has to be my way or the highway.
You know?
And then you place it over your...
Place it over the edge, yes, and then you cut. Okay, and then you keep that for you.
Yes.
And so we cut that.
Yeah, we cut that.
Let's make it nice and even, so it has to be exactly to that size. Nice strong scissor as well, I see. Oops.
Yes.
I've unraveled your ravel. Let's do that. Here we go.
And then what we do is to take that.
And then you pin it over there.
Yeah, you
do you need to pin on this side as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do that for you.
Okay. And then are we going to put this just on the one side, and then obviously we need to do one on the other edge as well?
Yeah, or rather it has to be the other way around. It just depends on how you want it to face.
Okay.
So once you have pinned it on.
And I think we got one of those.
Yes, I've got one of those.
Okay, nice and quick and easy. I quite like this. And it's just so colorful as well.
It is. So what you're going to do now is to take your needle. I don't know whether we'll have enough time for that.
That's fine.
Yeah, so what I usually do is that, where's my needle?
Okay, so this is the interesting part, because now you've got to put it through.
Or do you have a trained like mine?
Then you'll be able to put it through very quickly.
Yes.
Okay, lovely stuff. So now, while you were continuing finishing off this product over here, I believe we have got a finished product as well. So let's take a look at the one that you have that's all completed, zipped up, stitched up, and everything is ready. Look how funky this looks. And remember that if you don't want the knickknacks packets, you can get yourself any other kind of packet. Look how awesome it looks inside too. So you are able to put in all your pencils and pens and anything else that you might need to put in there. And then you've got some, and your makeup. Oh, girl.
Everybody will be jealous of you.
Definitely the makeup. I love this. Tsidi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I think you and I are going to continue getting done with the rest of our little crafty little work over here. Okay.